there is part of me, not going to lie, that thinks Anna could literally go into labor any second. So I'm being
Yeah.
very mindful.
Hopefully not ready quite yet, but
No,
soon.
I still think it'll be one of those viral streaming moments, but here we are. So here's what we are going to do. We're going to introduce ourselves. Some of you may know us, some of you don't. And again, this will be recorded, so it's important that everyone sort of has a bit of an understanding of who we are and I guess why we're qualified to speak in this space. We're going to share some live shopping predictions for 2026, a little bit of how Approved to Shop works. I'll introduce you to our host roster. We actually have Fiona on here as well. She may hop out, she may hop in, but we'll definitely introduce you on paper to who she is and how to work with us and any of our hosts. Now, I have also, just so that you all know, I wanted to also make sure that you had a great resource available to you. So I do have a resource that I'll offer you a little bit later, which is a small business guide to live shopping, just because for some of you, you literally might not know much about live shopping, and we're not going into the big depths and minutia of it today, but we should be able to give you enough of a preview. So here we go.
Perfect.
So this is me. I worked on breakfast television for many years. I was going to say 25-year broadcaster, but 25-year broadcast veteran is probably how
Mhm.
I wish I was 25 again. If only I appreciated all the things. But I do have an extensive background in the world of live shopping. Really at the core of where it started, which is TV home shopping, which has frankly been around for 50 plus years. The technology has changed. No, you don't need big studios. No, you don't need to have everything all figured out. That's part of why we're here to help you through it. But I've sold about $250 million in products. Conservatively, I always just think, are people going to think I'm BSing them if I give you a number? But you have to think, I would have 1 hour shows where we would sell $100,000.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's not too hard to believe. I have worked with some of the top brands in the world. Here's just a few that I put that you might recognize. There are many, many more. And then, of course, between the two of us, with Anna and I, with Approved to Shop, I'll share with you some of our client lists. But Anna, your foray into live shopping happened a little bit later, but it
Yeah.
also ties into your Approved by Anna brand, which many people, might know you from.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted a platform where I can connect brand to consumer, right? I've been working in beauty and product development for a long time now. I don't even know since I was 20 years old. I'm almost 40 now. So yeah, 20 years,
Yeah.
right? Um, And recently, as I was building a lot of beauty brands, I noticed they needed a channel to grow. How do we get into the consumer's hands? And it wasn't until I got a taste of the live shopping experience hands-on at the HSN studio. And I thought, I want to do this all the time, but how do I fly to Florida every week to do this, And literally, I came back to Vancouver and I meet Dawn, and she was doing live shopping school, and she still is doing live shopping school. She'll tell you a bit more about that. So, anyways, we said, why don't we take Approved by Anna and we take brands live?
Right.
And
Right.
that's how we started.
Yeah, and sorry, I was just trying to show you back. For some reason, it didn't go back to my video. But those of you that just joined, you might have missed it. But I was trying to show you because Anna would have been the guest to my being a host
Right.
if we had worked actually at the
At
same
the same.
place. So
Yes.
so
So
we
this is me at HSN representing Skincare Junkie with the founder. So it was either one of us. Usually they like to have two backups, right? It,
Mhm.
that shows if one of the brand representatives stuff is busy. So I was sort of like the talent next
Yes,
to our founder,
I
which
love
was
it.
the esthetician. I mean the dermatologist.
Yeah. And so then again, we don't want to go into the long story of how we met, but there was this almost for you in particular, because I'm at this party and
Yes,
you
and
walk in.
Lindsay's here. It was a Leams party, Lindsay. It was a Leams party.
And you
Remember
walk
that?
in and you look at me and you're like, you won't believe I just saw a billboard
Yeah.
and now I'm seeing you and now we have something to talk
Yeah, it
about.
was it was instant. So
Yeah, so amazing. So we started Approved to Shop. We started it last summer.
yeah.
And it's been going great. Now, just for me, myself, I've worked with a number of brands on live shopping through my live selling school. I have an
Mhm.
activation called Bring Your Brand to Live, and that typically is on like brand websites. And we're not going to focus on that so much today, although if anyone's interested, it is another offering. Should what we have to share with you maybe not be enough to what you want to do, but we feel there's a really big niche to help people with kind of the done for you, do all the heavy lifting for you and offer a platform with live shopping. And these are just a handful of the brands that we've worked with already.
Who is live shopping good for? Really, any brand. If you have something to sell, you can sell it live,
Yeah,
right? So you've
exactly.
seen we work with jewelry company, shoes, of course, cosmetics. That is my niche. Really, anybody and everybody.
Artists. So Pamela
Artist.
Masick, she is an artist who does, one of a kind commission pieces. So it's really for everyone. I'll show you that this works with subscription plans. But yeah, these are the brands that have worked with us since we have started with Approved to Shop. You'll notice a couple of Dragon's Den brands. I see we've got Krista Lee, who is in here. She is also a Dragon's Den
Thank you.
brand. Yes, she's absolutely fabulous. And so, yeah, this is just an information session to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we do. I'm going to assume that most of you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. You don't always have to love his presentation style, but he has certainly been a big proponent of live shopping in addition to other marketing tools and leveraging the underpriced attention, which is social media. And so, yes, this was a post he did for 2025, but it's actually gotten even bigger. In fact, for 2026, the live shopping industry, just in the US alone, is 70 million. That's the projection, and a 1 trillion globally. And we feel, Anna, that with Approved to Shop, we've kind of found a nice little niche to help you utilize live shopping and have it part of your marketing funnel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when we think of live shopping, and again, I'm not going to do a big education session on live shopping, but I did want to give you just a little bit of an understanding of it being more than just sales. A lot of times, Anna, people say, like, how much are we going to sell? And honestly, there are a lot of factors that come into how much you're going to sell. So what I like to say is imagine that live shopping fits into every part of your marketing funnel. So from awareness, and I'll show you exactly how the Approved to Shop platform and hosts help you in that as far as lead generation for your business and for your products, education, consideration. So having a personal advocate, not a bot, not copy on a page that is interpreted many different ways and may or may not be applicable to a certain customer who is watching, how that will turn into conversion either during the live, during the replay, perhaps the repurposing of the content, and then the building of community. So the brand loyalty. And so if we think, Anna, that the traditional e-commerce journey, there are several steps, right? And some of you may also have physical stores. So we'll kind of leave it at that you may in fact have physical stores. But let's talk e-com because a
Yeah.
lot of this is a pathway toward your e-com.
Yep.
Although I will say that personal stores also see increased foot traffic. So I do know that for a fact. But you've got about 5 steps, many places to drop off. Great, no problem. This works great for a lot of people. Oops, we got someone just coming in. Hold on, there we go. But I wanted to sort of address that, even within this traditional e-commerce
Yes, and this is
journey,
a traditional e-commerce.
yes,
We promote, people go to the web shop, they browse products, they add to cart, and they check out.
exactly. And within that, some of you may actually engage in influencer marketing. And what I wanted to
Yes.
show you this. So this was just literally, and I will say, first of all, when we talk about the support that we give you, and because I'm not using a dual screen, that's why it's kind of on builder mode here. I am not the graphic designer for anything. Okay. Everything I've done is literally for information purposes. But I did screenshot, and hopefully you guys can all see this, but I screenshot the, what do you call it? It's a LinkedIn post, and this is from an influencer marketing agency that is like, tell you what, we need to be more transparent. And these, by the way, are US dollars. And you can see yourself what some of the going rates are
Yeah.
based on followers, based on average views, and the offer rates, when you look at the 1 million to 5 million, what, 6,500 US dollars. But even for, a micro influencer, I mean, you're still looking at
Yeah.
potentially, $1,300 to
Fifteen.
$1,500. And that's just take a look at this for like one Instagram
One
reel,
reel.
one post, one
And
story.
it's not a path to purchase. It's
Correct.
a path to
Well,
see.
and
It's a
to
path
likes
to
and
likes.
to
It's a path to
likes.
likes.
I always think
Good.
this is so interesting because the path to likes also isn't necessarily for your brand. The
Yes,
path to likes is
that's a
often for
good.
the influencer and their reach. But, for those of you that have done influencer marketing, I always like to say, well, it's still valuable. I don't question that at all. I know we have creators that are on here. But what is the conversion rate? What is the ROI? And these are terms that incidentally, there are a lot of creators that don't even understand and don't even consider. I was recently on, oh, we got someone else coming in. I was recently on a trip, and there were influencers there, and I love influencers and creators. But I was talking to her about live shopping, and I said,
Oh,
and
okay.
she was like, "Well, I don't want to sell." And I said, "Well, you're always selling, you know that, right?" She goes, "No, no, no. People hire me because people pay me for posts because people want to look at the how I live my life, how I do this." And I said, "Sure, because that's a way for you to be relatable. But if you think that the brand doesn't care that at some
About
point someone's going to want to
the
buy what they
bottom.
have," I just thought it
Yes.
was it was such an interesting perspective. And again, this is not, I'm not trying to do shade on this creator, but I thought not everybody understands, Anna,
Right.
how important it is for a brand when they are paying like $1,000 for a post or $5,000 for a post, that somewhere along the line, your audience is going to bring some sort of customer awareness,
It is, at the
purchase
end
or
of the day, it's
something.
about the sale,
It,
right? Or it's about the journey to the sale.
Exactly. I see we have people that have just joined. Don't worry, we're also recording this. We do want you to stick around because we have questions and answers. We're moving through fairly quickly, but you're right on time. So thank you for joining us. So now I bring it to the reason I showed you those influencer rates is because I wanted to give you some perspective. So what I want to say and what Anna wants to help understand for all of you as well, or help you understand, is that what we offer isn't just influencer marketing. It is part of that,
Mhm.
but you can see how we can go a bit further, lots further, actually.
And I think that's what everybody's here for, to understand how does this actually work, right?
Yes,
It is easy, but it's also different than what we're used to.
exactly. And depending on where you live, you may not have access to some of the things that the US audience does,
Mhm.
like TikTok Shop and some of these native apps. And when I say that, remember that with a lot of these native apps, you don't own and don't even have access to a lot of the data, which we know is incredibly valuable. So what we do with Approved to Shop, and by the way, again, we just started this in the summer. We've already had, well, between the two of us, working, we've had, dozens of brands already work
Mhm.
with us, and we have many in the roster. So how we work is we bring a live show that also is replayable later. It broadcasts on our influencer socials. So what you're doing is you're getting access to that audience, and I'll share who our hosts are,
Right.
and I will share,
I know that was a big question when I
yes,
talk to brands, or they ask me, well, where does it go? Who do I market to?
right,
Right?
right.
That's usually a frequently asked question.
So it broadcasts on our influencer socials, and that works how I like to say this, and I'll review this in a few different ways so that because everyone ingests information differently. But then what it happens is it broadcasts. So it actually broadcasts on approvedtoshop.com. When people are watching, they will actually be able to, as you can see in this video here, this was with Danny with Maven Shea. So again, one of the Dragon
Mhm.
brands. What happens is when people click the button, they actually end up on the brand site. So we are a direct
And
conduit.
and you can still learn, be entertained, be educated, and still watch the show while you're shopping. So
Exactly.
they're not exiting your shopping, but you're still in the party, we like to call it.
Right. So you're seeing it right here.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like in action. You're welcome to at any point go to approvedtoshop.com. You can watch from your desktop. It looks a little different than it does on your phone. We know that most people watch on their phone, which is why
Yeah.
the leveraging the social media, depending on the host, where their biggest reach is, multi-stream on several channels, excuse me, on then Approved to Shop and then directly to your e-commerce. So to me, this is where, if we look at lead gen
Hmm.
and what you pay to get a customer to your site, we believe we've kind of found a bit of a secret sauce, something different than exists with influencer marketing, because with influencer marketing, there is very rarely that direct pathway. So, how we look at it, and remember, I just showed you what the traditional e commerce journey was, 5 steps. Live shopping has about 3. So, there's less space to drop off. But here, I've
Mm.
really catered it to what Approved to Shop does. So, no matter who you are, you have to promote, right? If you have a physical store, back in the day, I'm showing my age, you hung up flyers, you bought billboards, you bought advertising on TV. So you still have to promote, but our host and our platform, approvedtoshop.com, is part of that promotion. Remember, if you are broadcasting on the host channel, you are capturing potentially their audience. Now, does that mean with Vanessa Villea, who is with Selling Sunset, who has almost 1 million followers, does it mean you're getting 1 million people to your website? Absolutely not.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. But would you have had exposure to her audience had you not worked with her. And although you can hire Vanessa for influencing, it's big bucks, by the way, there's still no pathway to your site, which is
Yeah.
with Approved to Shop, as you can see very clearly. And again, this is just another way of seeing it. We can get them to your shop. And the great thing is that when the people are watching, we associate a trigger word. So it's not many chat, but it's that kind of idea. But it works
Yeah.
with live shopping.
And the key here is we direct them to your shop. We're not a store. We don't handle your merchandise. We're not shipping for you. We're the bridge. And I really like that image of the bridge because if you go back, I think this is like for somebody visual like me really gets it. We're like the bridge from, from you to your consumer to your e-com, truly. We're finding your consumer, bringing them to your e-com.
Right, right. But when you're watching this initially, you're watching on Approved to Shop. But what's great is that when people click the button and they go, gosh, I want those slippers, or oh gosh, I want that necklace, then the button, while they're watching, still goes to your site, which is exactly what you're seeing right here. So we don't need to deal with fulfillment. You don't have to do any tech upgrades. You don't have to do anything. So this is where, again, it's something quite different. We also encourage people to subscribe to our channel. And with that, then they get SMSs. And we found on your last show with the Morella and Max and Co show that you did, I'll show you some footage of that in a second. It was very interesting. We had dozens of people that tuned in just because of the SMS.
Yeah.
So we're just still a startup, my friends. And already we're seeing wonderful social proof, but this is only going to continue to grow. And we literally are the only offering that I've seen that offers a marketplace, and I'll wait till you see what the website looks like, that offers this.
Maybe an app soon to
Yes,
come.
well, exactly. So here is our talent roster, and I think we even have Fiona on here. And maybe when we do the Q&A, if she wants to pipe in, she can. But if not, that's fine too. But here's your host roster. It's growing. So there's Anna and myself, and I like to refer this to we are like the chefs that own the restaurant. So we're constantly hustling, man. Like you're seeing us on social media and all of that. And then we've got Vanessa Viela, who is with Selling Sunset.
Yeah.
She's also like a producer and director. She's working on some pretty big action films right now. So you have access to her. There's different sort of caveats to go with that, but I'm just letting you know who has bought into the Approved
And I just want to mention that we have 2 US hosts. So we are growing our US roster as well as our Canadian roster.
Yes.
Currently focusing more on Canada, but we can still cater to the US brands.
Yes. And by the way, Vanessa and Mickey both also speak Spanish.
Right.
So if you have a brand like we had Sanella, who did work through Approved to Shop, Sanella Beauty, worth following them. They're a wonderful brand. They did book Vanessa as their host, and Vanessa hosted on her own. And we've got lots of different ways that this can look for you. But I did want to show you, and we've got, again, Fiona Forbes, award-winning TV host. She is amazing, and she's got her first show coming up in the next couple weeks. It's great. February 2nd. So here's our site. We've just kind of redone it, and it's really like a marketplace. And if you just joined us, by the way, we are opening this to questions in just a few moments. So thank you for your patience. We just want to make sure we have something somewhat interrupted for people. But think of it like a marketplace. I'm not saying we're like Amazon because we also don't do fulfillment, but it's the idea that people, Anna, can have a destination to shop, to be entertained. All of these shows were live, and then they are shoppable on repeat.
On replay.
On
yes.
replay. And
what does that mean, by the way?
Well, so what it means is people can watch the shows, right? Just like the footage I was just showing you of with the bridge, that was a previous show. But here's the great thing. When you work with us, your show lives on our marketplace.
And it stays shoppable.
And it's SEO optimized, it stays shoppable. So we become a constant lead magnet for you. We become a constant conduit, the bridge that makes, and you've got content. So when you see what we offer too, this is why I also wanted to show you sort of what maybe you're dealing with influencer marketing, because if you think of us like influencer marketing, but oh, so much more with direct ROI and assets that you will own. So it's very exciting. We've also got the access to the data. I just did this yesterday, Anna. So I pulled up the data from Approved to Shop. And just from the time we started, and just to show you once again, this is the data we have access to each and every show. So when you do a show with us, and we are growing, again, we're a startup, we can share the data. We can share with you the most watched videos. We can share, like or the products people were looking at.
Click-through
Yeah,
rate,
yeah.
retention
And look
rate.
at this click-through rate, average of 55%, which is wonderful. So think again, how many people that you're hiring as an influencer are clicking through to your site if there
Yeah.
were a pathway?
That's the key here. And that's truly what we should mention again is we are through the show, we're bringing people to your site.
Right.
If you were to do a regular post, which I worked so much in the social media world, connecting brands with influencers, it stops there. It stops at the influencer's page most of the time,
Yeah.
not even the brand's page. So let's say we have a influencer like a Vanessa, right?
Right.
Posting about your brand, and let's say it's the Flow Water. Most people will just like Vanessa's post
Right.
and not even go to the Flow Water post. So it's really, I think this is what's game changing about what we're doing is we're actually getting people to your website.
Yeah.
And then if you're smart, you can capture their information.
Well, exactly. And to be fair, we have access to anyone that subscribes. There are laws against sharing
Right.
emails, so we can't really do that. But what we have seen, and in particular, so here's a show you have coming up on Monday.
Oh,
In
yes, I'm
case,
excited
if you
about
don't
this.
know, Anna is due in about 5 minutes, not quite.
I wish.
But you're actually part of a group called It Moms, and It Moms has now also, through the different brands that want to be associated with our two hosts, which is Anna and Hattie, who is a
Yes.
professional stylist. The show we have on Monday are four brands who
Yeah.
have decided to be part of a live shopping event, all centered around baby and kids,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
I'm so excited. And I think this is an amazing community for us to bring more expertise. And I think with live shopping, I love expertise, right? I love bringing expertise to different products and knowledge. That's another bonus of live shopping is you get to hear from the brand founder or for the host, which we usually study up on the brand, why we need this product, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And so in this case, so if we look again, why do you care, right? Why do you care about this? Well, Inkara, Gluckskind, Moon and Baby, or Moon Baby, and Lulu Lollipop, each one of those brands through the show and through Anna's following, because remember, this show will broadcast on Approved to Shop. The video, the live and the replays are also embeddable on your site, so it's almost like as if you hosted it. So you can
Yeah.
still do that, not on your socials, but on your site, which is ultimately where you want people anyway. So, you're going to help support with your subscriber list to encourage people to watch. And each one of these brands with the products that are associated and made shoppable go directly to each individual e-commerce. And from there, it's just like as if someone came to your site. We just are the
Yeah.
conduit. And you're doing it through, again, expert knowledge, entertainment. We've got our good friend Fiona, who is, and I just built this up yesterday. We haven't even built the graphic yet. And to be clear, we take care of all the graphics and all of this, and I
Yeah.
am not the graphic designer by any means. But yeah, so Fiona has her first show with us. I mean, she is an award-winning broadcaster, so her
Yeah,
comfort
she's
on camera
amazing.
and researchability and
Yes.
and doing the heavy lifting of the hosting is not anything. And we're there to support her and of course the brands. But we
And she has
have
a super engaged audience.
yes.
When we audited her social, we saw that she has such a loyal following, and we know that translates.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't even add up all of Fiona's followers, but let's say it's 60,000 plus. That I haven't even talked about engagement. We do have analytics for each of our hosts. So when you decide which host that you would like to work with, you have visibility on that. But many of you, you can look at the socials and go, gosh, yeah, I want to be associated with that person. Or maybe it's a age demographic, or maybe it's, listen, you don't want to do pregnant lady clothes with Dawn. You want to do pregnant lady clothes
It could be as simple as that,
it
right?
can be as simple as that. So just to again outline it in a very what I hope is an easy way for you to see. So on February 2nd at 10 a.m., what happens is the show with Jane the Brand, and I put a picture of Jillian Harris there because Jane the
They just
Brand,
did a collab,
a
right?
collab. Well, they're in the Jilly box. So these are
Nice.
purse
So
charms, long
cute.
before purse charms were the Labubus. So very, very forward thinking. And this
Yeah.
is why I love working with brands that are forward thinking, because this is what a live shopping is. And plain Jane skin bars. So what
I
happens
love that.
is broadcasts on Fiona's socials, which captures more audience. We will associate a trigger word, right? That gets people to approve to shop. We can also just tell people to go to approve to shop. That's the way it'll be eventually. The event can be embedded, so it means it will be, showing on a screen on a website if the brands want, which is another way to capture and another way for brands to just say, hey, join us on our website. Great. right there. And then the checkout pages for what will, equate to about 12 products will go to each brand website. And I should highlight too that this isn't always brands that have a physical product. Sometimes it is digital
Well,
asset.
we have deep dives with Dawn, and you've done digital assets and books and authors, and
Exactly.
so
I
yeah,
oh, I hope the video works. Oh, it probably won't. That's okay. There was a nice little video because I've done a live show with Simone before, but we're basically in her kitchen. Maybe I'll just backtrack and
I
see
love
if it'll,
that.
well, yeah, we'll see if it'll let me do it. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can press play. Oh, well. There we go. Okay, so yeah, Simone Level, she she is awesome. She's like the cottage cheese queen. She just did a GLP-1 workshop. She does one-on-one coaching. She's got her meal planning services. And so we're going to be doing, she's done 2 live events with me, live shopping events, and now she is bringing her brand to Approve to Shop. She will be doing her first show with us on February 10th, and then
So exciting.
she actually brought up that she would like to do. She's debating between weekly shows or monthly shows, and she has lots to offer, and people love her content, and so we're also thinking content first. So for anyone that's out there thinking, first of all, I don't know why you have a problem selling. It's you're in business to sell, but I understand no one wants to feel like they're hard pushing
Right,
people.
pushing too much.
So you can see here, this would be very similar to a content that I would do when I was on breakfast television or the shopping channel. And this is a digital product. So she's selling digital cookbooks and subscription plans. So again, simulcast on my socials, runs on approvetoshop.com. She can embed it on her website if she wants. And by the way, she's got an incredible newsletter list. So of course she's going to promote the event. And then it
And
directs to
then
her checkout page.
and then I just want to mention, so once, she promotes the event to her network, this is how we grow together.
Yeah,
Her network now becomes the Approved to Shop network, which becomes your network when you
exactly.
advertise with us. So it's such a community building platform, which really the sky's the limit. The more we have, truly, the more we can share with everybody. So,
Exactly. And again, thinking in the terms of ROI,
right.
we can't guarantee that's always how many sales are we going to make? Listen, what you get out of it is what you put into it. These
Yeah.
are early stages, but when I show you everything that we're offering you, you'll start to realize, gosh, the sales really is the cherry on top because if you've ever invested in influencer marketing or content creation or any of this kind of stuff, you're going to quickly realize that what we can bring you with Approved to Shop is so much more than the immediate live sales. There are additional sales as well. And I see we still have people coming in, not to
Yeah,
worry.
welcome.
We've still got the Q&A to happen. And of course, we will be sending out the replay for anyone as well. So yeah, 26% conversion rate. She was selling her Meals by Simone plan. I think it was for $14.95, and that was a monthly meal subscription plan. She sold 70 in our 1 hour event. And she did limit the offer for an hour because I think she was offering free 15-minute coaching calls or a digital cookbook or something. I can't
Well,
remember.
that's
That's
the
$1,000, income passive
right.
every month.
That's amazing.
Right.
And I want to talk just quickly about strategy too. Really depends. A lot of people ask us like, how many sales am I going to get? It really depends on your strategy, right? We've seen clients that spend money in advertising, digital advertising to get people to watch the show. And of course, when we're doing that, when you're pushing that, we are going to get more conversion. So it really depends on your marketing plan. We are very open to customize, and we have a lot of people that are talented on our team that can help you achieve that plan. I know, Dawn, you've had a lot of success doing a lot of these sort of like organic marketing plans for your clients where they really saw a lot of ROI.
Yeah, and that's organic marketing. But I will tell you, I also in another part of my business, we've had some brands that have put very minimal, and we're not asking you to do advertising or meta ads. In fact, what we're offering you are the ability to access content for meta ads. But it's just to give you some perspective. I mean, sometimes just a small boosting of a post, and we do offer a bit of that with our
Yes.
platform as well. But if you're working currently with a marketing agency, if some of you are, I'm not assuming a lot of times you are the marketer and you are the bottle washer and you're the everything. I get it. But I mean, we sold $90,000 worth in it was services in 1 hour.
1 hour show.
So it was
And
amazing.
and that I want to share that because
And
it got
that's not a typical thing, by the way, just so you know.
but it goes to show you if you do have a strategy, a marketing strategy that goes along with what we're doing, which is connecting you people and buyers to your website, it can really, really work.
Yeah, and we'll work with you on that too because we're a startup. What we have is something very innovative. It's very early. I've just put up just to show you again some of the analytics. You can see some. So the little what is it? The little eyeballs is how many people, viewed the product. So again, when we look at Nina Skincare or if we look at Becca's Bags, you're doing a Becca's Bags show in just a few hours here today, by the way. Worth
Yes.
tuning in, approvetoshop.com. But even the show that you just did with the transitional dressing, which the footage is on the right, the far right, and that's more behind the scenes footage. So if you are local, we also can come to you. But you can see, I also did an event with Jane Stoller. She is Organize Your Business Like a Boss. So Organize Jane. So we can also do virtual. And then you see right in the center, there is Selling Sunsets, Vanessa Villa
Yeah.
working with Sanella. And then, of course, Maven Shea.
Showing her tricks on how
Yes,
she gets that gorgeous makeup.
yes, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, this just gives you an idea of what we do. So now we're going to get into what how it would be working with us, and
Question.
oh, we will have some questions, so let me look at that, and then of course we'll also open up the mics later.
Hmm.
Local means Vancouver, or I'm going to say Greater Vancouver, because I'm doing events even in the
You do
Fraser
travel.
Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I plan, if you're watching from anywhere else, my goal is honestly, I feel like I should get we need to get an RV sponsor or a yacht. Actually, I'm sorry, a private jet sponsor, because I would like to take Approved to Shop on the road. If if you know of a business association or someone like even, it could be in Edmonton or Calgary and says, you know what, we've got 5 brands that want to do an activation and we're going to do a communal show, and Dawn, we want you out there, and
Well, we're at the Fairmont
we'll
right
come out.
now.
Yeah, we'll
You could
come.
be featuring the Fairmonts around the world.
Exactly. Yes, that's all we need. Well, from your lips to God's ears. And so this is how we're going to be able to work with you. But yes, right now, Ramona, Vancouver, BC is local. But don't forget, there are no geographical restrictions with live shopping because we have US hosts. We
Exactly.
have,
I was gonna say.
and remember, so everyone can watch on approvetoshop.com. But when you're choosing your host, you're going to want to choose whose audience do I want access to? So just like if you were
Mhm.
booking an influencer, you're like, do I want Dawn's audience? Do I want Fiona's audience? Maybe you already work with an influencer. We can have a conversation about getting them involved with this platform because
Yeah.
ultimately we are a marketplace, a conduit. We have the tech, so you don't have to deal with the tech stack or any of the graphics and promotion. Like we do all that for you.
And also, if you may say, I want to host my own live shows once a week, Dawn can help you with that as well. If you're here to just learn more about live shopping,
Yeah.
this is something that Dawn on your own with Live Selling School offers. So, if you are kind of remote and say, I just really want to have people in my showroom
Yeah.
and just start doing a
Or on your website, you want to have,
exactly.
right. So, I mean, and we won't, if you are interested in that stuff, just reach out to me. But what we wanted to do today was to give everyone such an easy entry point into what is being called the must-do strategy for businesses and a $1 trillion global industry, 70 billion in the US. What I put here is just, again, feel free if you want in the chat, tell us what your business you're in. I guarantee you, if you don't see this picture, if you don't see your industry here in some way, test me. Test me. Tell me what you're in and say, there's no way that you can do live shopping with this. I promise you, you can. I mean, I promise you, you can. Because with Approved to Shop, what's different is you don't need to actually have a Shopify store. We just need a checkout or we need a link. So in theory, if you were, let me just put it out there, if you were a dentist who wanted to get more clients, more signups, and you want them to fill out a contact form, we can make the contact form the
Right.
URL, and we could still do an education session on teaching your kids how to brush their teeth properly. And we could also sell toothbrushes. And so there's, that's just off the top of my head. I could have figured out a sexier example, but
Practical.
right. So remember, this isn't just influencer marketing. There is a bit of the influence because you are accessing the host reach. Hair salon, Brunette Academy. Wait till I tell you the story of this. Give me a second. Let me finish this thought. Okay. Because
Exciting.
I've worked with hair salons. I'll share this with you in a second. So yes, you're going to get some influencer content that comes out of the live shows, but it's a commerce ready placement. So it's live. It's also repeatable. It's shoppable. It's hosted. And it's not just about posting. The goal is to drive to your website. I put design to sell, but ultimately we are lead gen. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why don't I just go live on Instagram? And maybe you have been doing that. Wonderful. Gosh, I don't know. It's because I'm not presenting here. I don't know why it's not showing everything. But anyways, Instagram, I just put this just for example. Instagram, there's no graphics or anything like that, right? So there's no button to press. Instagram
It's
doesn't
truly like entertaining or educational.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Watch now, it won't let me do any, probably the Wi-Fi. But you can see here, at least you can see on the Maven Shea. What happens here is that you actually, there is a button to press. We got to get doorbells here. There's actually a button to press, which means there is a direct pathway to your e-commerce. So when we look at someone being very, it's very active, lots of activity here. Um, if we look at, somebody who is very interested in these slippers, someone's going to press the button and look where it goes. It goes directly to the Maeve and Shea website. I'm going to give this one more shot to see if you can see all of this, and then I'll move on. Only because
Buddy replaced my
you're
replaced me.
okay. Anyways, I think it's the Wi-Fi that's not showing all the pictures, but you've already seen a lot of what the pictures look like. So it's again the difference between having the buttons and not the buttons. And there's the direct conduit, the bridge. If you visualize the bridge of Anna's audience, Dawn's audience, Fiona's audience, Vanessa's, Mickey's, maybe your influencer, maybe your brand, right? If you want to do regular shows, it literally can be, your ambassador. And we also, by the way, you might be thinking, gosh, is it just like Fiona that's presenting on her own, or is it just no, we can do that. And we have the ability. We have professional broadcasters, professional hosts, professional salespeople, professional stylists. We've got access to Hattie if we want as well. But it's also a wonderful opportunity for you to appear on camera yourself. Back in the day when I was working on breakfast television, and I know we've got Fiona here as well, and she was also with Global National morning show, so she also has visibility. She probably can't share, but she probably has visibility that's at even higher dollar points than what I'm going to share because I don't care. I'm going to share. For when I would go on a live eye to do content, much like the video I was just showing you, it was a minimum of $5,000, and it was for what equated to 2 minutes, so 6 minutes of content in total. And you didn't have a pathway to purchase, and you didn't have, if you wanted the footage, you had to pay to get the footage.
Right.
So, and by no means, I'm not suggesting this is the cost of anything. I just want you to understand that, you just have to tell us what you want to accomplish, and we're going to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's, we can create a custom plan. Whether you're a charity and you want to bring, sales towards your charity, or it's an event.
Yep.
Maybe it's an event,
Yep.
right? Maybe we're promoting an event.
Well,
We want people
pop-ups.
to sign up.
Exactly.
So yeah, I feel like there's so much we can do here. Mainly understanding that you can choose your host, and the host is where you're gonna get your consumer, right? This is where you're gonna get your viewers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's choosing the host, you're choosing the community.
Yeah. So you're
But
getting,
we're also all promoting it at the same
well,
time.
of course. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, you're having an event. I mean, it's like having all of us going and hanging up flyers on the little light stands. But yeah, you choose the host that will amplify to their audience on social media. The show simulcasts on Instagram.
And Facebook and
Yeah,
YouTube.
it depends on what the host has access to. Not every
Right.
host has.
Right.
So, but at the very least, most have Instagram, and a lot of that's where we see a lot of the engagement.
Right.
But for me, when I host, my shows run on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and I
yeah.
believe yours as well.
Yes.
But you might not, we might not have as engaged audiences on YouTube, but it's nice to be there, and because it's replayable and repeatable, the SEO continues to drive.
That's great. And whenever I do a show, and this is again, this is new for us too, and we're getting data all the time. Whenever I do a show and I leave it on you, it stays on YouTube Lives, which by the way is a great kind of SEO. YouTube is really pushing short content and lives. It stays there and it's getting tons of views, which means, it's open to the world, to the universe, which means you're getting those leads because it's still shoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. And so again, just for those of you just joining us, and again, everyone hears things differently. And I see we also have someone does health and wellness. It is perfect for you. I've already worked with health and wellness. Absolutely perfect. We'll talk about more of your individual scenarios. We're right on time. So I've got about 3 minutes left for this, and then we've got some Q&A. So how is this different? So a traditional influencer campaign, you maybe get one piece of content, maybe you've worked out a bundle deal. Limited usage rights, no direct checkout, right? The performance, it depends on a lot of things, right? And listen, everyone's performance depends on a lot of things, but you're also relying on how educated that influencer is, or how dedicated they are to really diving deep about who your brand is.
And just a bracket here, because I've done a lot of influencer campaign for brands. Typically, a brand sends a brief to an influencer. There's no phone call. There's literally a brief, which we hope the influencer reads.
Yeah.
Most likely they won't. They'll create content in their own way, and that's it. when I get involved, I like to call it like get on the phone with influencer and make sure she understands the brand's value, the voice. So it's a lot. I do a lot more than a typical
Yeah.
agency, but it's just not very typical for the influencers to really get into that gold content, which we do on live.
Yeah, well, and this is where when we talk about the fact that you have professional level hosts, like we are hosts and the back of our mind salespeople first because we
Right.
understand even if we're not hard sales, we understand that there is a goal here, which is to drive to your e-commerce. At the end of the day, I can't control if your product is great or if you priced it well, but I can promise you that we are going to do our very best in all of our homework. So if I look at myself, I look at Fiona, who are trained and award-winning broadcasters, both of us with, probably a combined 50 years of broadcasting under our
Yes.
belt. When we would interview a book author or a chef or, whoever,
Yeah.
any one of your brands, we would have a what we call like a pre-production meeting or a call. We do the same
Right.
thing. We do the
Right.
same thing. So we will, this is more about being a partner with you, and it's less about sending, hey, send us a bunch of free stuff and let's just like take a picture and show everybody how much we like it and all the free stuff we got. And then we got a lot of likes and no one ends up buying the product. So, we
I
just
was
want you to know how invested we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a platform last night. It was like kind of a resale platform where they're doing live shopping, and it was a lot of influencers like talking about the purse, but there was not a lot of information. It was like, oh my God, this is so cute. It would go well with
Right.
my outfit, and it was very personal. So I think that with your training and your constant training on us too, you're teaching us how to do it because of your experience. We know how to. I think that sets the expertise apart from a typical influencer as well doing this because we understand that pathway to purchase, how to encourage the sale from even showcasing the product. Like the last show we did, you were teaching us truly how to show fashion products online because the consumer is not touching it. You have to show them how it feels.
I call it see the feel. And so if you just joined us, I have a background in TV home shopping as well as broadcast. So it's this similar strategies, but it's new technology and it's technology that you have access to because of TV, because of my expertise and Anna's expertise and because we brought you approved to shop. Just to show you here again some of the differences. So again, we offer as part of our bundles, and I'm going to give it laid out to you in 2 minutes or less, exactly what you get. But you're going to get shoppable assets. You're going to get MP4s. You can repurpose. You can use
You play
clips
the
for
show.
meta ads. So when we say like, how is it different than influencer posts? You actually are kind of getting all the influencer stuff, but you're also getting the live and the replay, and you're getting the usage rights. So if Dawn's selling this mug and does a video for you with this mug, you're going to go ahead and use that on Meta.
Yeah.
These are early stages. These are things that we can offer right now because it is early, and it's how we give you sort of the most we possibly can, understanding that there are things also that are beyond our control. Like we don't have visibility on your e-commerce. So, when you say how much are we going to sell, we can't see that because we're directing to your e-commerce. So we want to make sure that at the very end, if all you did and care about is the fact that you're going to get a TikTok that you can post on your TikTok and you get the MP4, we promise you're getting the value, even just with that. Everything else is like a cherry on top, and everything else is propelling you into the
I
future.
just want to add something because we have some like talent and experts like a hair salon and health and wellness. If you're shy about like being on live with us, the host is truly like, let's talk about a little bit of the synergy. Like, let's say we have an expert and they're maybe thinking, oh my God, now I have to sell my stuff. Like, I'm nervous. The host job, like our job is to encourage sale, to really encourage you and walk you through this beautiful presentation. You are truly there to share your expertise.
Yeah, you're basically, think of it like on TV when you watch television and you see someone doing a cooking segment. The person doing the cooking segment is rarely the one that's saying, here's the directions to our restaurant, or,
Right. This is
right?
how you
It's
make.
right. The person who's the guest is the expert. So you're sharing your brand story. You're sharing, why did you create this cream? Is it because your baby had terrible eczema and you needed something that was going to be baby safe but going to be effective? Um, the host, our job is to ask you those kinds of questions to bring out the best in you. And so both Fiona, who is one of the hosts that we have access for you, and myself, we're also media trainers. And so this is exactly what we do. We work with brands all the time to help sort of tee them up to be able to shine. And so because you've got professional level hosts and because you've got experts like ourselves that are expert presenters and researchers, we're going to do what we need to do to help you shine. And that means even if you're nervous, right? And I this is the best part of my job is letting you shine. And we do all the homework, we do all the heavy lifting, we do the tech stack, we do the graphics. You're welcome to create your own promotional graphics, but we also create the graphics that you can use. We can even write the copy for you. So understanding that a lot of founders, you're the everything, and I know that sometimes this feels like, oh gosh, there's one more thing on my plate. Honestly, you just have to show up, I swear.
Yeah.
A quick little education meeting so that our hosts know your brand and know your story and know your passion so we can help serve you. That's the extent of it. And I'm going to trust you love talking about your brand. So why wouldn't you want to talk about it with us? And then you just have to be there. And yeah, you've got to promote it and all that, but you're already doing some of that. So here is what your
Yeah.
brand placement includes. And I did it just for if you just sort of saw, again, just to remind you, this is a screenshot of what typical influencer rates are and look what you're getting. So as I go through this, I want you to just put into perspective, what would it be? Because you're gonna, you might be thinking, okay, she's getting to the price soon. Yes, I am. I'm still on schedule. I just want you to have perspective. And remember, we've got access to many hosts of different followings, of different reach, of different price point because the host is extra in some cases. I'll share in just a second. But here's what you get. And by the way, we are flexible too. So there's things I might not have even listed here. And tomorrow we're gonna go, gosh, we should also offer this because it's easy for us, right?
Yeah.
It's harder for you, but it's easy for us because we're already in this. This is our life right now.
Yeah.
So yes, you're going to get placement inside the live shopping event. I've already showed you that pathway. I'm not going to go through that again. You get the shoppable replay that lives on our website, right? We've been telling people at least 3 months, but we're in no panic to
Yeah.
dismantle anything at this point. At some point, if we've got a million videos on there, we're probably going to have to clear out the clutter. But at that point, maybe you're not even selling the same products, and then it's time to do another show. But we can work with you on all of that as well. So you will have that placement. So imagine we're the mall, we're the Amazon, right? You're getting real estate on our platform, which again works as a conduit, the bridge. Remember the visual of the bridge to your e-commerce with trustworthy hosts. And we hope you on camera as well telling your story because not everyone can afford $5,000 to appear for 6 minutes on national television. You are also going to get the MP4s, so the raw MP4s that you can carve up as you want. And with our 1 hour placements, we also will carve that up. We use AI to carve up into 15 to 60-second clips. But then you can use those for meta ads if you want.
For sure.
Right.
And I just want to say I've seen a lot of trends in education and brand education putting their live shopping segment on their website.
Yes. Yeah. And you can embed.
And YouTube.
Yeah. And so we give you the embed codes as well. So what it does is it looks just like a video on your website. When people click the buttons, it then lets them continue to watch the show, but then it drives to your
In fact, we had a local brand, it's a Dragon's Den brand, said to us, I want to do this purely to answer questions to my consumer. And I don't want to be by myself in front of a camera because it's maybe too boring. I want to have a conversation. So they're doing live shopping purely to give more knowledge and information and answer questions.
Think of it like an interview that has a pathway to conversion. So I've interviewed book authors. You could have a therapy session. The show we're doing with Simone Lovell, we will be talking about GLP-1 medication and what are your alternatives. And so it's going to be a conversation. And yes, there will be products that we can offer, but ultimately it's actually, for me, it feels more organic than a typical home shopping show because it really is a conversation. It could be a podcast. So think of it in that realm. If you're thinking, it could be just telling your story and why, I know we got Krista Lee here. Why did you create these beautiful, colorful, joyful pieces? How important, with mantras and words, like how, tell us about your story. And in my experience, it is the story that sells, right? So this is everything you get. And again, we welcome a conversation, but I just wanted to, again, when I showed you the influencer rates, look at all you're getting. Okay. Now we're going to talk price and then we're going to get to questions. And we're not asking for commitments for today, but I do want to be completely transparent and I want you to be able to ask the questions. So I am going to share price. So, and this, by the way, these are our established prices. This is all those brands that I showed you already. These are what the brands are paying. Okay. So we have a 1 hour placement. I put curated. Shouldn't have done that. 1 hour placement means you have the whole hour yourself.
It's for you and your brand only.
Yeah. then, and that's, by the way, you can be with us on that, and that's virtual or in person, depending on obviously where you are. That's also if you are in Vancouver, we can also do it from your store, right?
Hmm.
And if not, then we're virtual, and that's fine. Or if you don't want us in your store, that's fine too. What we also wanted to do is we didn't want to
Or they can
limit
come to our studio.
yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. We do have a
Hmm.
downtown studio as well that you can use. And no, there's no extra charge for that. We also have what we call multi-brand inclusion. And these aren't really the right titles. I had AI help me with these little graphics because, again, I am not the graphic designer. But what we do is sort of like the baby show,
Yeah.
right? Where Anna's got a baby show happening on Monday. Sorry, Baby and Kids.
Baby and kids, and we come up with the theme and then we curate it with the brands,
Right.
non-competing.
Yeah.
It's very important, right? We don't want to sell the same thing for
Yeah.
each brand. Non-competing, but same theme,
Cohesive.
cohesive.
Right. So in this case, now we made so this is why we can talk about exceptions. Typically, the multi-brand inclusion is either like us hosting together or a single host, right? Because you can appreciate it's a lot of work to kind of wrangle brands for a 20-minute segment or a 15-minute segment within
Yeah.
a 1 hour placement. The value of that placement, again, is huge. If you look at the influencer rates, 15 minutes live, you're used to getting a 60-second reel for $1,500 in most
Right.
cases. And you don't get to appear on that, by the way. So in this case, what we did, though, again, we made an exception. We're like, you know what? We got Gluxkind, who is like AI, not AI,
It's
like
like a
robotic stroll. It's a Tesla stroller.
like
We
my
got baby,
Moon
Moon Baby
Baby
and all
and
this like clothing and everything. And so we made an exception. We're like, they're all Vancouver brands. We're like, come to the studio. And so we can work with you. But so, anyways, this is what the cost is, $350 for multi-brand inclusion. What we want to offer for anyone today, and again, you don't have to decide this very second. This isn't a decide in an hour or I'm taking it away, although is a very good strategy. Anyone that does sign on for a curated placement, we are going to throw in the a multi-brand inclusion. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you will be there with us for that shorter segment
so you're getting the 350 as a
as a
bonus.
bonus. And what we do with that too is that we will create, you don't really tell us when you're going to want to do it or anything because it's part of sometimes a theme. Like if we do Valentine's gifts, I might go, oh gosh, well, Krista Lee's got these great heart necklaces with colors. Great, Krista, you're buying the hour. You know what? We're also going to give you, because you're signing on for February and March, we're
In
also
our
going to
Valentine's
include you in our
segment.
Valentine's segment. And so then we're going to present your goods. And again, that gives you more. And of course, again, you get all that shoppable replay and all of that. So once again, take a look at this. Take a look at what you would get if you were doing an influencer. Now, here are our hosts. Here we go. We're just wrapping up. Because host fee is extra.
Mm.
And I said to Anna, I said, I don't want to scare anyone with host fees, but when I show you this, again, screenshot this in your mind, okay? I feel like we need to be transparent because I don't want you to
Yeah.
think like we're trying to put the wool over your eyes or anything. So for Anne and I, we are the chefs who own the restaurant, so we can work cheap. I will tell you my fees are way higher than this, but because I am invested in this business, I'm not charging as much for this. Vanessa is 2000 plus. I should have put plus for events. That's what she made for Sinella. She's got almost 1 million followers. So let's just also put into
Yeah.
perspective. Okay. Mickey Vaughn, 800 event. This is plus. Minimum for Fiona, we're looking at $1,000 per event. Fiona currently, I don't want to speak on behalf of her, but her rates are significantly higher. I've seen her paychecks on those because we had to ask for proof of concept on, if what can we realistically expect. So if you're used to working with someone like Fiona, you already know what you pay her. So now not only are you getting all the things that she's always done for you, but you're also getting this. So if you have worked with Fiona before at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 for a campaign, you realize very quickly the fact that you're getting still the reel that she probably would have created for you for that price, but look at everything else you're getting. And Fiona, again, I don't want to speak for her, but Fiona also sees the future here. So now I want to just also share with this. So every host is valued at that, and that is 100% they are valuable at that. The industry has set that standard, and their expertise and their reach and their engagement has proven that. What I will say is that, again, Dawn and Anna are the chefs, and I'm not trying to underprice anybody here, but I know that for anyone watching right now, you're probably, you came in because you're like, how can we work the proof shop? Anna and I want to give you the easiest route. Now, you want Fiona? Awesome. She is going to bring you great,
Yes.
great things. Great. But if you're thinking like, I can't afford all that because
You want to try it out
you
first.
want to try it out first, and then maybe you want to, then I'm the chef that can go ahead and donate my service. You
Yeah.
still are in it for the investment of working with us, right? So we've talked about what that investment is. Where is it?
Okay.
Right there. But what I will tell you is just for February and March, I can give up my fee just to get you going. And so I think that's important to note as well, just that I want to make this an easy yes for you. But if you have already been working with influencers, I highly recommend you then be more thoughtful in, do I want Fiona's audience? Do I want Mickey's audience? Are you a US brand? Or do you want a Spanish speaking audience? Right? I can't give you that, but Mickey and Vanessa can. And depending on your brand and the size of your brand.
Yeah, we're gonna have one more host too,
Yeah,
with our stylist host Penny.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're expanding.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And I will say too, again, have a conversation with us because some of you, have an idea and then we might say, well, let's see if we can make something work. So I don't want
Hmm.
you to think that everything is hard and fast, but I did want to offer
Yeah.
transparency because I think that's only fair. We're not all created equal.
Yeah. And
We all
there's
have different
also,
reach.
some commission-based projects that we would do if
Yeah.
it's the right.
Yeah, and it depends. And again, Anna and I are the chefs that own the restaurant, so we have a little more flexibility on ours. Um, so again, here's everything you're getting. Plus, don't forget live streaming and social and promotion on the host socials. There is the price once again. That price, if you want Anna and Dawn, that's all there is right there. Everything else host is extra, and later it will be host extra for Anna and Dawn, but we wanted to offer something special. If you do want more information, you can contact each of us individually, but I do want to open it up to questions. So let me stop share. And so let me quickly go while you're thinking of your questions, and you can all open up your mics if you like. So we already answered, what does local mean? Vancouver, BC, Fraser Valley, possibly, it kind of depends. But basically Greater Vancouver.